Awesome. Let's see. All right. Hi guys. Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum. Hi, greetings, wherever you are in the world. Okay, because you guys are very robust people, because it's not like one region, someone is in Indonesia, someone is in Finland, someone is in Zimbabwe, someone's in Nigeria, someone is in everywhere around the world, I guess. So good morning, good evening, and good night. And yeah, hi guys. Good afternoon as well. So today we'll learn about direction. Okay. Today we'll learn about direction. And so you see, well, when I told you about the first homework, right, it was about marking levels. You see, you realize now you understand that what you understand how to mark levels. But the thing is, you don't understand. So there are a few questions. First of all, how to mark levels. Number two, why do levels break? Why does price respect certain levels? And last but not least, why does what? I forgot already. What's the fourth question? The fourth question is why on some levels price gives a long shadow. So how to mark levels and what levels to mark, you've understood that already. So today we're going to understand this. Why do levels break? And this one, we're going to keep it 4 entries. Okay, so don't ask me, how do you entry here? How do I entry there? How do I get the shadow entry? Why isn't it sharp? That one, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so today we'll understand why do levels break, and why does price do this? Why does price do this? What causes impulsive movement? What caused this? What caused this? Yeah, we're going to understand that. Okay, what caused this? We're going to understand that together. So, first of all, what kind of time frames do we have? We have the monthly, we have the weekly, we have the daily, we have the H4, H1, M30, M15, M5, 1. Okay, these 2 time frames I don't use so much lah. Okay, but these time frames, and one thing that I realized in my trading journey is that monthly is not consistent for direction. It's not consistent. Okay, because there was a time where over here I'll show you. So, and when I'll show you later lah. Okay, monthly is not consistent for direction, and so what I do is basically I define weekly as my main direction. It's my main direction. Okay, H4 is for your continuation roadblock. H4, okay, daily is for continuation, but H4 is very special. Very special. Why is it very special? Because first it decides whether direction is valid or not. How I validate direction is by using H4. There is something called the decision level. The decision level is always going to be on H4. Okay? The decision level is always going to be on H4. So what is a decision level? A decision level is basically like this. Let's say this is a daily or weekly level. Okay? And so the definition of a decision level is the level it makes right before it touches the weekly or daily line or level lah. Okay, the H4 level it makes right before it touches the weekly or daily level. Okay, so let's say this is a weekly or daily support, right? And so price arrives like this. Okay, like this lah, right? So remember this is our H4 view. And so which level was made right before it touched the weekly or daily level? Okay, you guys answer in the chat. Is it A, B, C, or D? Which level is our decision level? Enggak. Correct. The answer is B. If price reaches this level and it breaks this level, right? If price reaches this level and it breaks this level, therefore, price, the reversal for your buy is 100% confirmed. Done. That's how I validate direction. So this is called your decision level. If your decision level has been broken, therefore, yeah, you just hold. If you've bought over here, just hold. There's nothing really special about this. That's all. This is actually very special, but yeah, this is it. Okay, this is how you understand whether price has truly reversed or not. Okay, remember, it's not A, it's B. Okay, definitely not A, it's B. Okay, so yeah, H4. Okay, so basically, if price comes to this level, because I've seen it before, I've seen it happen before. Okay, it does not necessarily have to be this kind of level. It can be a gap. It can be whatever it is lah. It can be a gap, or it can be SNR. It can be a classic support or resistance. It can be a breakout level. It really depends. Okay, but all they have to see is what kind of what level it made right before it touched the weekly, the higher time frame level lah, the weekly or daily level. Okay, and so let me show you an example of it. All right, what you're going to see is basically most of the time, right? Let's say this is the level, price comes, right? No lah, I want to do sell lah. Okay, this is the level, price arrives, right? Going to see this. It breaks out this one. Once the candle breaks out, right? Once the candle breaks out, it will either do this. boom immediately, or it will take a HNS like this, and then it goes down. Okay? This is if it breaks. But you're going to see, if it doesn't break this level, it will go up. It will go up. So let's see. So these are your three scenarios, okay? It could either be this one, could be this one, but HNS, okay? After a reversal, look for HNS, okay? And then if there's HNS lah, okay? If there's after reversal, if there's HNS, wait for the HNS, right? And then we also have this one, where price goes back there and then flies again. So let's see. Okay, I have a good example of this. Where is it? I think it's this one. Oh God, I can't remember my examples lah. This one. No, not that one. This one is it? What is this one? Sorry lah, I cannot remember. Can't remember it already. I think this one. This one kot. Yang lama dah. So let's see here. Over here. This one ke? No, not this one. Not this one, not this one. Where? There are very clear examples of it. Tak apalah, I show you the latest one only lah. Okay. Here. This one. This guy right here. I show you this one. Boom. This level. Right. That level. Okay, remember right? If SNR, it needs to have a miss level. Okay, a miss level. But for weekly and daily levels, and sometimes H4, it doesn't need to have a miss. As long as it's the first touch or the second touch, it's good enough already. Okay, so look here. What was the level that was created right before it touched this? It was this level. Because it touched, it touched over here. It touched over here. So it was this level lah. Okay. Where is it? Oh. Okay. So this was where it touched. This was where it touched. Okay. So what was the level that was made right before? It was this one. So mark it. Okay. You see? After it broke that level, boom, it went down. Okay. Let's see another one. Let's see another one. This one. This one. See? It touched over there. It broke this level. And then it flew. It flew until where? It flew until the next daily level. It flew until where? Where already? Yeah lah, it flew up lah. Going to another daily level. Okay. So that's basically decision levels lah. Okay. So back to our explanation of time frames. Okay. And so H1 is actually, I discovered that H1 is actually pretty damn good for entries. Okay. So H1, okay, so H4 decides whether direction is valid or not. And it also acts as a, it also acts as, how do I say? Acts as, basically, no matter what direction, no matter what kind of direction you're in, H4 can kacau. Kacau means, does anyone know how to translate kacau in English? Disturb. Yeah. Basically, it can disturb. Okay. H1 can influence H4. H1 can influence, correct? Yes. H1 can influence, no, sorry, this one is H4. H4, okay? H4, no matter what kind of direction you're in a buy, or you're in a sell, or you're in a whatever lah. H4 can push it in a different direction. Okay, but there's a way lah to understand how, and how do you take advantage of that. There's a way. Okay, and so H1 is very special. Okay, H1 is where you need to look for your miss. You need to make sure your candles are gap candles for your gap, not for gap candles, sorry. Yes, weak candles for your gaps, etc. lah. Okay, so when it comes to these time frames, you don't have to be very specific in finding your levels. Basically, anything goes lah. Okay, but then when it comes to H1, you need to wait for your miss. You need to wait for everything lah, basically. Okay, you need to wait for your miss. You need to wait for your weak. You need to make sure your gap candles are weak candles. Okay, yeah. So these guys this one we'll go through in another session. This lower time frame bullshit. Okay, but this one actually M5 and M1 are my favorite weapons. Actually, they are my most favorite weapons. Okay, so yeah, let's sambung. Let's continue. Okay, decision levels done. Let's see. Okay, let's continue talking about. How do I say? Okay, direction. So the thing is, let's talk about storyline. Okay, storyline. You see, okay, before we talk about storyline, let's see this. A lot of teachers out there, right? They believe in something called closing. Okay, closing. But let's see this, how they use it is basically weekly. Let's say this is a weekly level. This is a weekly candle, right? If price closes above the weekly support, it means that price wants to fly. But this one, I learned that the teacher taught me this, but then at the end of the day, I don't use that at all. Because sometimes, right, after price closes, price has already flown like over here, like what, 300 pips already. I don't want to wait for a week for me to wait for buying. Why must I wait a week for me to buy? No, I don't want that. Okay. And so, which is why I totally scrap the idea of closing. I don't use closing at all when it comes to direction of higher time frame. I use something called the first touch. If it touch, it break out, valid already. Okay. If it touches, it breaks out, valid already. So you don't need to wait for closing. You don't need to wait. Some people, they don't use closing. Mine is first touch plus breakout, right? Plus breakout. Some of them not only closing, it's closing plus breakout. Haha, take damn long for the direction to start. Okay, dah lah. For it to close, you need to wait for like a few days. For another breakout, wait for a few days. And by the time breakout and first touch of breakout and closing happens, the direction already changed already. You know, so it's not fun. It's not fun using closing as your direction indicator. Okay, so to me, I will always believe in my first touch and breakout. If that is the way I determine whether price has started changing direction or not. Okay. So yeah, H4. Okay. So let's talk about storyline. Okay. Storyline is actually simple. Okay. So over here, over here. Pa, pa. So price, let's say this is the weekly view. Weekly view. Okay. And this is what I call point A. And this is what I call point B. The thing about the thing about direction is that you will never know. You will never know where is point B. You will never know that. And there is power in this. This is actually very, very good. Why? It's because you can, let's say direction is by, you basically, when after you've learned with me, one thing I can promise you that you will understand is that first you'll have a very good understanding of direction lah. That's first. Second is that you're going to be flexible. You're going to be very, very flexible because the way I teach is something that, how do I say? Later you continue learning first. Okay. Okay. So you'll never know where is point B. All you'll know is whether there's weekly, daily, H4. Okay. You'll just know what direction weekly is. Is weekly in the buy or weekly is in the sell? Is daily in a buy or daily is in a sell? What's the direction for the weekly? What's the direction for daily? That's all you need to know. You don't need to know where it ends. You don't need to know. You all need to know is whether it has started or not only. Okay? You don't need to know where it ends because you see. Okay, so this is a weekly. So basically imagine there's a weekly support over here lah. Okay, a weekly support that started this, and then a weekly resistance that ended the weekly movements. Okay, and so you see, basically price moves from support to resistance, resistance to support. That's the easy way of saying it lah. But then if price starts selling at a resistance for a weekly or daily, you never know which level exactly price will actually reverse. But then there's a way to manipulate that, and so that's okay. Okay, 1 second. And so same points, and then daily. Okay, for daily, it looks like this. Okay, it looks like this. So this is actually a series of what? A series of pullbacks to contribute to the weekly direction. Over here, daily was maybe there's a daily level over here. It took that daily level, went down, and took another daily support over here. Okay, it flew out, took a daily level over here, and then returned here to buy. Took a daily resistance here, went down, and then it took here to buy. Yeah. That's how that storyline works. Storyline is a series of a big A to B, and in the big A to B, in this big A to B, there are small A, Bs, and B turns into an A and you're back to B. And then B turns into an A, you're back to B. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, all the way to the biggest B. And then that B turns back into an A, and then it goes down again. That's how price works. Okay. So, and in H4, it's the exact same thing. But basically pretend that weekly is daily and daily is H4. Okay? Okay. Pardon me. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So what else I want to teach? Let's see. Okay, come let's show you some examples. To me, what I saw is basically, why did it go down? First of all, and then because of this. Why is broker didn't hit? Never mind lah. It's good. Yeah, it's fine. Boom. Actually, there's a way to entry up there. It's this trend line actually. It's this trend line actually. But how do you use the trend line, right? How do you use the trend line? Later lah. Okay. For direction, we're gonna have, so you guys, I'm gonna update my teaching style. So there's one intro session, two direction sessions, and two entry sessions. So your first session for direction will be an introduction to how direction works. Okay, your second session of direction is going to be, we're going to dive even deeper on how deeper lah, deeper on direction. So it's okay if you don't get the full picture of it yet. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to give you guys homework, and our classes will be like around like 1.5 months. Okay, 1.5 months of like standard lah. Sometimes this week don't have class, next weekend, that stuff lah. Okay, and then yeah, but I'll make sure our classes always on weekends, because I must make sure all of you join. Okay, yeah. And so yeah, it went down because of this trend line actually. But why this trend line? Why this trend line? Why wasn't it? Why wasn't it this one? Why wasn't it this one? Why? There's a very special reason for that. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so basically price went down because of this SNR. So now this can now be your point A. Okay, and believe it or not, right now it looks like this. We don't know where point B will be, but point B will definitely, there's only one hint for your point B, is that it will be weekly level. It will be a weekly level. That's all we know. Okay, but there are ways to buy at weekly level. Okay, so later. Actually, I took a buy over here. The 100 pick one, I got it, but then it returned back and take my BE. Piece of shit. I thought, yeah, because it hasn't broken out the decision level yet. Okay, so yeah, later lah. Okay, all we know is that point B will be a weekly level, and believe it or not, if you look inside here, you'll find that daily looks like this. Look properly. Oh, fuck. So I don't know lah what happened over here. Something over here, but I don't know. I did not take a sell here. I did not take a sell here because I don't see anything. So it went out here, took back this level, went down, made another level, went down. So if you see properly, it's just it just does that. It goes A B A B A B A B until it reaches the biggest B point, and then it restarts again. Okay. Yeah. Let's see another one. Okay. Remember, the way I mark my levels is actually by using a line. The reason I'm using a box is to make sure you guys can have like can look at it lah. Okay. 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 So believe it or not, the weekly just looks like this. It just looks like this. It looks like what? It looks like pop, pop, right? Pop, pop, pop. So if weekly in this, like this, let's say look at daily look like that. Let's see. Ta-da! See that? Up here. No lah. It's not basically. There must be a reason for this shadow. I think it's a trend line. I definitely think it's a trend line. So basically, this one, and then it took here. No, sorry, it took here. Why? Why to me this one is? So this one, yeah, over here. Actually, maybe there's a trend line leading over here. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. So you're gonna see what? You're gonna see? Ta, ta, ta. See this level, this level. See this level. Maybe there's something over here. I don't know. Usually, right, if you see this kind of thing, I won't entry. I won't entry at places which are not obvious. You know, because to me, if it's obvious, then I'll take it. If it's not obvious, why must I spend my time trying to look for something that is like so damn far away? I don't you'll never find me entering at places that are a bit too weird. Okay, my entries are always very straightforward. And then over here, over here, I bet there's a trend line leading over here. When there is a huge shadow, there's definitely a trend line. A huge shadow and there's no level, usually there's a trend line. And then over here, this one, and then yeah, this one tak kena, this one, and then it finally went up. So that is basically weekly and daily levels from point A to point B, point A to point B, point A to point B, and inside a big A to B. Okay, and then let's see H4. See? And H4 is even crazier. And in H4, you see? Remember I told you about big shadows?
Hello. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. I think we kind of lost T's voice just now. Um.
At the right time. Oh, okay. It actually ended at the right time, to be honest, because I don't really have much more to teach today when it comes to direction, because direction is just that. Let's see what happened last week. So actually this happened because of this trend line. You have to understand that if there's an extremely far shadow, right, it's always because of a trend line. Okay? Understand that. Just understand that. Yes, if you see an extremely far shadow, you have to trust me and find a trend line. It's always a trend line. And this trend line is actually very special. Okay? Why is it very special? I'm just going to go through a bit deep lah into entries a bit. Okay? Have you guys heard about engulfing? If you know engulfing, how I determine engulfing is basically, let's say this one, right? This is a shadow, and the shadow gets eaten by a body. The shadow gets eaten by the body of another candle. It doesn't necessarily need to eat the whole thing. No. It can be like this. As long as the body of a different colored candle eats the shadow, the top shadow of a different colored candle, then it's engulfing. And so this is engulfing. And for the first point and the second point must have engulfing. If the first and second point has engulfing, it means that the trend line is valid. Okay? That is one of the key features of my trend lines. If you see me pull trend lines, I use 4 types of trend lines. Okay? 3 of them use engulfing. 1 of them doesn't. Okay? 1 of them doesn't use engulfing. 3 of them do. Right? And so believe it or not, you see a few days back, see this? This level over here. This level over here, for its reaction was a very, very far shadow. And that one was FOMC, right? Actually, there's a trend line over there. There's a trend line. And there's a way to get the sharpest entry over there. The way to get the sharpest entry over there is at the trend line. Entry at the next H1 level. If the trend line floats, entry at the next H1 level. And you have it. That's how you entry over there. And that's how I got my entry for last week. How about down here? See this? This level down here. Direct this one, right? See this? So a bit far lah. Ta-da! Yeah, that is how I got my entries. And then what I did was I opened H1 because it went a bit further lah than I expected it to. So then I took this level. See there on the left? That level. And so that was how. So now you already know how I took my entries down here and how I got this one, the one I posted on Instagram. Okay? Not hard. It's not hard. All right. So that's enough about me talking about trend lines. So yeah, but then I did not hold this one lah. I did not hold this one because when I took this shot, I was expecting it to drop even further immediately, you know. But then suddenly it came here, it took my 30 pip BE and then it went down again. Piece of shit lah. But then I have an entry over here, so that's okay. Yeah. So right now, what do you think about the direction? In my opinion, there are a few levels that it can end. it can end either the cell direction can end. It could be here. Why over here? Actually, this one is a different level. This one is called like broken HNS. But then this one doesn't occur very often. So this one is just for your information lah. Okay. Like this. Right. Like this. It's supposed to like take here, right? But it didn't take there. What it did is, boom, it broke here. This one also can be valid actually. But then this one doesn't happen all the time. It's not consistent. So this one is just for your information lah. Okay, which is why I don't teach this level because it's not consistent. Could either be this one, or this one. It depends lah. If it comes to one of those levels, and then remember our decision level, it break that level, then it means that it's about to fly lah. Okay, if it comes there, it fails to break that level, it goes down again. That's why, remember when in my first session, I told you about scammers that say, this one, high risk, medium, low. I don't believe in that because you cannot label anything as low risk, high risk, or medium risk. All you can do is see whether it breaks your decision level or not, and then you know it will reverse. So if I see people doing this or saying like this, it means that they're amateurs because they don't know what exactly pushes the market to move. So don't believe in that mapping stuff. Believe in reactions and being flexible because that's how you actually trade. That's the real way of trading. Okay. And I guess we're done for today explaining about higher time frames. Whew. Okay. Chun. So far, any questions before I give homework?
I got one.
Sure, go ahead.
So essentially, we're waiting for the price to come to higher time frame, which is monthly and weekly.
No, we don't use monthly. I don't use monthly.
Oh, you don't use monthly. Okay.
I don't use monthly.
So we wait for price to come to weekly and daily, right?
Correct.
And then we just wait for it to do the breakout based on the reaction. And then afterwards, we know that the direction is changing.
Correct.
But then because you sent us a new group, I went through some videos. I don't know how has your style changed.
Oh yeah, it has changed. It has changed. Actually, for my old students, right? Once you guys are finished learning with me, I actually reteach them. Yeah. And so there is another separate group for like my graduates lah. And so every time I change anything, I'll inform them first. So don't worry lah. If I change anything, I'm definitely going to tell you guys the information that I changed. Okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Now your direction is only one type, which is breakout, isn't it?
Correct. It used to be closing and breakout as well, but then I find that inconsistent, so I scrapped it.
Okay. Then I don't remember the 4 things you mentioned in beginning, and then you said today we're gonna go through 2 of them. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but I want to know, like, how do you know if the level breaks? Because what I was before, there's the rejection and the breakout. They always have these 2.
Okay, correct.
So was that in question? I mean, the topic 1 and 2 that you were planning.
Can I not answer that question now so that you can be curious until the next session?
I kind of know already, but
what is it? What is it?
Momentum.
No. I scrapped that one as well. I use something even better now.
Okay.
So momentum used to be good, but then I felt like there was something lacking about it. There was something lacking about it because I found out that actually even levels that did not have momentum also respected. And so I was like dumbfounded, like why exactly? So I found the answer to that already. And so why levels break and why levels make, well, we'll talk about that later. But then the answer is actually in M5. Okay. But it's not that momentum. I told my old students not to watch my old videos anymore. Okay. Watch I gave them new videos. Okay. So it's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about that yet. Later you can worry about that. But then the answer is in M5 lah. Okay.
Okay.
Who else?
Yes, T. I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you remember when I DM you on Instagram? Once you told me that price can communicate with you.
Correct.
It want to go to H1. It want to go to H4 daily and
Correct.
to weekly.
Correct.
Is it like the simplest way to see the direction of the price, whether it want to go to the daily is just by controlling the one time frame lower? Let's say we try to see the structure of the H4, and if we see that the H4 is uptrend, then we understand that maybe you want to go to daily, or it's just a different other thing.
It's like this actually. That's my way of saying it lah. Okay. Most people have I told you about how most people have like 30 pip SLs and I have 10?
Yeah.
Have I told you guys about that?
Yeah.
I haven't told you guys about that, is it? Haven't I?
Yep. In the introduction.
Oh, okay. And so basically there's a way how price communicates with us. If a H4 setup breaks, it's waiting for a daily level. If a daily level breaks, it's waiting for a weekly level. That's basically how price communicates with us. If a H1 level breaks,
it goes to H4.
It goes to H4, correct. So that's basically how price communicates with us. And in order to determine whether it breaks or not, all you have to do is look at the M5. Okay, I'm going to spill the beans lah. M5 has to reject the level. If M5 closes a bit below, you're going to find that M5 will either do free fall or like this and then go down. That's my secret weapon. That's my secret weapon. You know?
In this case, the line that you draw can be
any line.
H1
can be H4 or daily.
H1 level or H4 level.
Correct. And you're gonna find that if let's say this happens on a H4 level, don't entry on any H4 level until you find the daily. Okay? Because if it breaks, let's say if it breaks a H4 buy level, okay, you continue selling on the H1 until it reaches daily. Understood?
Yeah.
Like that lah. If let's say a H1 level breaks, but this one actually I'm supposed to go through this in entries. Okay.
Yeah.
Then if you guys ask, I tell you lah. Okay.
Okay.
And so let's say a H1 buy level breaks, right? A H1 buy level breaks, you wait. You either continue selling or you wait until it goes to H4 and then you can continue buying from the H4. Get it?
Get it.
But then if H4 breaks, you wait until daily. If weekly breaks, you wait for next weekly.
Weekly to weekly, yeah.
Correct. Okay. Any more questions?
So
that will be all.
Andrew first. Let Andrew finish.
No. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Kevin.
Clear?
Okay. My question is, so you mean, for example, like H1 break, it will not be stopped by another H1.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
If H1 breaks, it will not be stopped by another H1. If H4 breaks, it will not be stopped by another H4. If weekly breaks, it will be stopped by another weekly because that's the end of the line already. Okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. Anyone else?
I'm curious, why don't you use monthly anymore?
Why don't I use monthly?
Mm.
Because I feel like monthly, first of all, is pretty impossible to take an entry on, because no matter what kind of trend line you pull, no matter if you entry on the SNR itself, it turns very wonky, you know. And most of the time, if monthly says buy and then suddenly the direction breaks, it's always because of weekly, always. And so I feel like at the end of the day, monthly will only, let's say monthly says buy. Monthly says buy. Okay. At the end of the day, monthly will only move in the buy direction if weekly agrees. If weekly agrees, only then monthly will continue buying. So at the end of the day, if monthly, it depends on weekly, why not just use weekly? Understand that?
Mm.
And so I don't use monthly. Some people do, some people can use, but then every time my friend says monthly is buy, but every time my friend says, bro, why are you selling and holding? Monthly is buying. And like, because I'm using weekly. And they're like, what? Weekly can fight monthly. You try yourself lah. And then they're like, hey, yeah lah, it sell, it go down lah, even though monthly direction buy. Like this one time, right? This one time over here. Let me show you this one. Lol. This one is a monthly support, correct?
Yeah.
But how come you go down? Why did it go down? Over here, there's a weekly
roadblock.
because of
Weekly
roadblock, correct? But then I feel like the monthly direction has been broken by a weekly, and so after my back testing, I realized that at the end of the day, the most consistent time frame to me is weekly for my direction, because I've taken a lot of entries on weekly and I've profited. Basically, you can use monthly if you want with the same philosophy, but then I'm saving your assets lah, because I feel like, because I've used monthly and did not find consistency. After I use weekly, I found consistency. So it's really up to you lah. If you want to use monthly, you use lah, but then I don't use monthly. Okay.
Okay, and then another question: how do you determine about like if monthly, weekly, daily, whatever, it's buy or sell?
If it touched and it broke up. If it touched, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot draw on the screen.
You
But
could,
let's say
send
like
it
the
on
line that you
Twitter.
were drawing. Let's say the
What
line
is
that you
it?
draw, the blue line, right? The one that you have right now
Yeah.
on the screen.
Correct.
What about the SBR? Oh, sorry, RBS. Is that considered as a level for you?
I don't use monthly levels, bro. I use weekly levels. You see, one thing is that an RBS level or SBR, whatever you call it, is only valid if you've been paying attention, you know how to answer that question. It's only valid if what?
Breakout? No, it's breaking out anyway.
What?
No, I don't get your question. You're asking like, there's a way to know
How
what
come?
is valid.
Why is a breakout level valid? Let's say it like this lah. When is this valid?
When it's coming back, and another one is like it hasn't reached another level on top.
When it has a miss. When it has a miss before or after. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This or this. Correct?
Mm.
I don't use monthly at all. At all. Okay. So, but then if I do use monthly, I wouldn't ignore this lah. This one would be cool. But then you see, I do not find consistency in monthly at all. At all. So be my guest lah. If you want to use monthly, go ahead and use monthly. But I don't use monthly.
No, I'm not talking about time frame itself now. Let's say this is weekly level, but candles would look like this.
Yeah, I'll use that. But if it breaks, I'll wait for the next weekly level.
So
if
you mean
it breaks,
breaks on H4, or it fails to break the sell level on H4? M5.
You don't believe me?
No, I'll wait for the next session.
Don't push it, son. Wait for the next session. Later, you're gonna right now you're only seeing like 30% of the big picture. Okay, 30 to 35% of the big picture. And as you go further, your answers will slowly appear by themselves. Okay, right now you're asking questions about entries. You're asking why do they, or you're asking about, how do I say? You're asking about things that we're not there yet. Okay, where right now we're like if there's a whole alphabet A to Z, we're only at like F or E. Okay, no, not F lah. I think we're like around halfway there already lah, like 45%. Okay, so chill out, bro. Okay, but if you don't think I'm legit, you can see my highlights. I've took shots here. I've took a shot here. I've took my shots here. I've took my shots many places already. Okay, so don't worry. If I can entry like that, you can entry like that as well. But I'm not saying that my entries never hit stop loss. Of course, they hit stop loss every once in a while. But then if they hit stop loss, to me, I don't become sad. Why? Because it's a hint for me to continue. It's a hint for me to wait at a certain time frame, or it's a hint for me to, let's say my buy took a stop loss, right? I'm going to continue selling. So yeah. So if this broke, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I took a shot here. I took a shot here. Both broke. But then after it broke, right, I continued selling and things went okay. So it's okay if levels break because you're never gonna get 100% win rate. Okay, you're never gonna get 100% win rate, but then 80% is very, 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 very achievable. And you see, for some people, 80% is not enough for their win rate. Why? It's because every single time they trade, they put way too much risk. They risk 20%. Not 20%. They risk way too much of their account. Because every time they SL, they have like what? 30 pips, 40 pips. And every time they profit, not even 100 pips. But in my world, how I trade, I SL 10 pips. Sometimes I took SL like 2 times in a row, 20. Okay, fine. But then when I profit, is at least 50, at least. And so basically everything just goes fine. So to me, don't be scared of taking your losses because you'll always understand how to counter them lah. What's important is not yeah, first of all you need to manage your risk. And you see, I'm talking to a guy who's been in 12 years in the industry, so I don't think I need to talk about risk, but then yeah, but then like it's okay for you to take L's as long as you know how to counter them lah. As long as you know how, let's say if this breaks, okay, I'll show you. This breaks. Where the hell is the line? Oh, far away.
H1 is not enough.
If this breaks, take your shot here lah, bro. Take your shot there. Can continue selling. Okay. I won't sell here. I don't care if it respects or not, because sometimes the market does that and I don't care. Okay, you can also take a shot here. This broke. Okay, M5 broke here. Take a shot here. No harm in doing that. And then you can continue selling over here. So yeah, chill. Everything's gonna be okay lah. Any more questions?
Yeah, T, please. I have another question.
Go ahead.
Remaining, and it's a little gray area for me. It's about the daily time frame, please. Could you, confirm it that the daily time frame is only for you to look out for the roadblocks in order for you to prevent?
Correct.
Yeah, is that just it?
Roadblocks or yeah, I guess yeah, I guess it's roadblocks. But the thing is, how do I say? How do I talk about daily time frames?
I'm very confused when it's about the daily time frame. To be honest with you, I do understand every other purpose for every time frames or other time frames, but the daily is quite an enigma. It's really tricky for me.
actually my homework after this will be basically marking this. Weekly to weekly, right? And then daily. This is my homework actually. A to B, and then I want you to see A, B. I think your doubts will be answered in the homework lah, kot. I think. And then I think from there I think basically daily is used as a roadblock, number one. Of course, it will be used as a roadblock. And second, it's used as something to continue following the direction. And I guess that's all. That's all.
So T, if I understood well, the daily time frame is the perfect one for the intra trader.
Yes and no, because to me, I don't believe in intraday or whatever lah, because I believe that there is no way for me to exactly determine how long I'm going to hold my trade. Understand? Basically, what I'm going to do is just intraday or scalping or swinging. It all depends on what the market gives me, because I don't decide how do I intraday my trades, you know? Because sometimes, how do I intraday? How do I hold? What the fuck am I saying right now? Nee, 1 second. How do I explain to you this part? I don't know how to explain to you this part lah. Basically, in my definition, right? In my definition, I've never really thought about my trades as, okay, this is my intraday trade. This is my swing trade. This is my scalping trade. I've never thought about that. I just follow whatever time frame the market gives me. And sometimes, if you say intraday, right? Let's say you were expecting, let's say daily, right? You were expecting it to end over here, but then suddenly it broke. And then what? Is that still intraday? That's not intraday, is it? To me, I don't know how to answer that question, man. I don't know how to answer that question. I wouldn't say daily is the best time frame for your intradays, because I don't really trade intradays. I follow the time frames, lah. Follow the time frames. Just follow the time frames. Whatever the market, I think. Ayo, Fauzi, I'm sorry, man. I'm making a fool of myself here.
No, not at all. Not at all. I will just start by ignoring the daily time frame and only focusing on weekly and H4 in the, as I just start, and then eventually I will come up, be more flexible, just as you, and flow with the market, and then start using it more. But
exactly.
in the beginning, I will just ignore it because it's just noises and it can be tricky.
You see, sorry, okay, remember about miss SNRs, and there is gap levels and weak candles. Those guys are usable for your H1. Okay, for this one, you see it dropped real far because of this daily level. Okay, actually, Fauzi, daily levels are very usable. Okay, they are very usable, but then they are usable only as only to continue following weekly or to block weekly. Okay, I have a question. Oh yeah, this is one of the questions I always ask my students. Okay, if weekly say buy, okay, weekly say buy, daily say sell. Which one do you sell or buy first? Which one what do you do first? Do you sell or do you buy first?
I think I will sell because the daily is the roadblocks.
Correct. Like over here, weekly says sell, right? Comes from the weekly. But then over here, daily says buy. So you buy first until it reaches this level. And then over here, then you continue selling, and then you sell again. Over here, you buy. Over here is a trend line. You buy. until it reaches this level, and then you sell again. So I guess when it comes to direction, you're gonna have to be very, very flexible in the way you look at the market. Very, very flexible. I cannot determine whether your trades will be intraday, scalping, or swing, because that's totally up to the market to decide with how long or how far your trade goes. Okay. All I can tell you is to be very good with your time frames, to be able to understand and to able to basically have a rough idea of where and where price would end. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell that mastering the different time frames is a true science, and I love it. It's beautiful.
No, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Wait, I don't think I answered Boy's question well. Boy, what was your question again?
What question?
Yeah, just now. Or did I haven't answered it already?
I believe you did.
Okay. Wait, I want to think about that question. What was the question again about monthly time frames?
Yeah, I think so. Like, why were you dropping the monthly? That was one of the questions.
I see. I was dropping the monthly, well, just because I feel like it's inconsistent. Okay, just because I feel that. But you see, because I know a lot of traders that use the monthly and are pretty okay with it. Okay, and so if you want to use the monthly, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Okay.
Okay. By the way, were you supposed to go through a topic today to tell us which are the right levels, or it's for the next session?
Okay. How about guys? Those kind of questions you keep until the end of the session, until the end of after I've explained everything. Okay, because actually today I wasn't supposed to tell you about M5 yet. Okay. I wasn't supposed to tell you guys about M5 yet, but you guys keep on asking questions that make me realize you guys. It's good that you guys really want to learn. Okay, it's okay. It's amazing. Okay, that's amazing. And you guys have questions that actually tell that you guys have experience. Okay, but then I feel like just go with the flow first. Okay, if by the end of the course, you have questions. Okay, you have questions like, what about the time you told me that you were supposed to teach me why do levels break and why do levels respect, and I still haven't answered those questions. And then at that time, then you ask me. Okay, because I don't want to deviate from the plan I have for you all. Okay.
All right, deal.
Awesome. All right, so any more questions? Ibrahim, my guy. Okay, hi, what's up?
I've been listening. Please, why do you ignore the weeks like most of the times?
I ignore the weeks? I never ignore the weeks, bro. Usually at the longest weeks, I have an entry.
As I noticed when you're doing lines, it's mostly not on the weeks. I don't know.
I don't ignore the weeks, but you see, what do you mean?
I think
you
his
want me
question.
to mark the weeks as well?
Yes, please.
Oh, no. I don't ignore the weeks. I'm sorry, I ignore. How do I tell you? Okay, another hard question. Let me think about it.
I think he's asking why marking the close, not the week as the entry zone.
Yes.
Actually, based on my knowledge, maybe you have more knowledge than me, because some of my students, they learn with me. Even actually, they know more than me. But it's okay. I've never actually took an entry on any of the shadows, because first of all, because I come from Malaysia, and in Malaysia they've never taught anything about taking entries at shadows. I've never learned that, and even though I've never learned that, I am consistent. So I don't know how to answer your
Actually,
question.
this using the closing price is very eye-opening for me.
Thank you.
Before I only consider the week, and I have never believed that the closing price is so powerful.
Oh, okay. Ibrahim, you have your answer ready.
Yeah, I think this will work again. It works. Thank you.
Because to be honest, I don't have an answer for that. Because why?
No,
Because I've never tried it.
Curious.
That's my answer for you.
So
Yeah.
just on that note as well, actually, about about entering or not entering on the wicks, right? I mean, of course, if you go to a when you start going to lower time frames, those wicks become candlesticks, right? So that's how you can get a bit of refinement, I guess, if you do enter on a lower time frame. But then
Correct.
also on the
But
flip
I feel
side,
like
you have so much
I
more
feel like
data.
that understanding is a bit flawed,
Okay.
because like if you do feel like every shadow is actually okay, if you feel like the closing candles and the shadows are both valid levels, then how many valid levels are you going to look at in the charts? There's going to be so many levels, and you're going to get very confused, and so I guess like yeah. And so I guess basically the way to think about the market is to make it simple and stupid.
That's cool.
If you look too deeply into it, you're gonna get caught up real bad. So keep it very, very simple. Okay.
I think the back testing session we have tomorrow is going to be a huge eye opener as well. That's too.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
Because that's one of the things that obviously you as you mentioned, you use 10 pips for your stop loss, and you had some zero. You've obviously shown us zero float entries as well. So that level of precision,
not really zero float, but then they don't float above 10 pips though.
Yeah, don't float a lot basically. But to get that sort of precision, of course, you'd imagine that sort of precision only comes with going to much lower time frames. But then on the flip side, again, you're experienced, so it's a totally different viewpoint. But then for the
I feel like I don't take my entries on the lower time frames. It's never like, why did you entry over there? I'd never answer like, or I took it because there's a M5 support. I don't do that. My M5 and my M1s are specifically to observe the patterns that happen over there. If you ask me why did I entry over there, it's usually because like what H1 or H4 daily or like weekly,
Yep.
It's never like, oh, M15 support. No. Because I feel like in this in the market, I feel like M15 is a bit too small for you to want to find levels from the M15,
Yes, and it's ultimately information overload, right? There's too
correct.
many.
So, you see, I feel like the way the smartest, the easiest way, I guess, to be a profitable trader is for you to understand what to ignore. Because once you understand what to ignore, you'll be consistent, because there's no random bullshit flowing through your brain,
Agree. Totally agree.
Thanks, man. All right.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else wants to ask me a question, and so that I can debate about it? You guys are fucking. You guys like to ask me questions that make me look stupid. I hate all of you.
We're just being curious.
I understand. I still hate all of you though. Okay. Okay. Who else? Who else want to fight with me? Come.
All right. I got one.
Okay. What do you want now?
Those levels, right? Can we use like zero levels to like as confluence, like prices? The classic support and resistance, they use zero levels.
I don't really use that, but then like some of my friends do and they're okay with it. But to me, like the only way I could like extra validate a level is just by looking whether it has like a miss or a weak candle. Yeah, that's all basically. And there's also a bit of price action I haven't thought yet. So yeah, you just wait for that, man.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome, Ibrahim. Okay, anyone else wants to start the fight? What?
What was the question?
What was the question? What was what question?
Ibrahim's question just now.
Is it okay to is a level like Ibrahim, what was your question?
The question is like
Mr. XY wants to fight with you today.
Let's say I'm doing a support or resistance on like a level, right? Can I add confluence to price that has 00 at the ending, like 1800, 1700, all those levels on the price? Like the classic support and resistance, you know, they work with, let's say the price is 1750, 1780, 17, something like that.
Oh, okay, I get this. So you wanted to ask if there's a way to
Yes.
use extra confluence.
Yes, like if they are useful or not.
I believe that too many confluence might fuck you up. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's working, the simplest is the best.
Yeah, I think what Uncle T said, we should just avoid noises. So I think I should just scrap that one from my book.
I feel like too much confluence. Why did it turn into a philosophy session? Never mind. I feel like too much confluence can fuck you up, you know, because you see, if let's say in one area there is like 5 confluence, but at the end of the day it still broke your level, you're gonna go psycho.
Yeah, actually.
You know, so because I've met those kind of traders before. Like I have this one friend, he took like an undisclosed amount of loss lah, like shit ton. And then like, why did you sell there? Like, oh, there's a H1 support, an M30 trend line, a H1 HNS. And then like, okay, why did you sell that? I said, oh, that's like 5 confluences. And then I just told him like, bro, didn't you see the weekly direction said sell? Why did you buy? Yes, that's like 5 confluences, but weekly said sell. Why did you buy? And then he's like, oh, bro, but that's 5 confluences. Okay. So your 5 confluences can fight the weekly level, is it? Like, no, but okay, all right, you know. And so I feel like I don't think the key to consistency is confluence. I feel like the key to consistency is just understanding timeframes as a whole. Because even if you have like 10 confluence in one spot, but then at the end of the day, your direction doesn't agree with you, you're still going to fuck up, you know? So to me, the only good confluence is just direction. Direction and basically a level that is nice. Tapi what is the meaning of nice? Later lah, I tell you. Okay?
All right. I'll write it down, sir.
I'm actually pretty scared to teach you all. You all very critical thinkers, you know. Scary lah. All right. Anyone else?
Talking about time frames, you have some experience with this. So which one you consider more important? Like lower time frame, let's say M1, M5, M15, or monthly, weekly, daily?
I feel like wait, I must answer this man's question very properly. Wait, let me think. I feel like that no time frame is actually more important than the other, because I feel like each time frame has their own rules in the market. I can't say weekly is more important than M1, because at the end of the day, even on the weekly level, I validate those levels and I make sure those levels have an M1 something on them. So to be honest, I feel like your question itself is flawed, because no time frame is more important than the other. Each one has their own characteristics and ways to use them, but you're just gonna have to be flexible.
All right, fair enough.
And all right, anyone else? Okay lah, I don't want to open any more questions lah. Later I get interrogated. Okay, so that's all now, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Can you please explain about the homework first?
Oh yeah. Wait, let me think about the homework first, because I want to think about the homework first. Let's see. I'm thinking about weekly to weekly, daily to daily, but then I want to modify it a bit lah. Maybe like make it 2 parts or something. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I'll think about it first and then I'll give it in the group.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, boys and girls.
Okay. Thank you.
Massive thanks.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
all right.
you.